the ritual of hepatoscopy. A complicated ritual grew up around the readings of the omens through the examination of the liver. The Baru, who officiated, must first of all purify himself and wear special apparel for the ceremony. Both prayers and prayers were offered up to Shamash, Hadad, or Ramon, who were known as the Lords of Divination, to whom specific questions were asked. The sheep selected for the sacrifice must be, like the red heifer and the building of the third temple, it must be immaculate, and the manner of merodaching, slaughtering it, and the examination of its liver must be made with the most meticulous care. Sometimes the signs were doubtful, and upon such occasions a second sheep was sacrificed. Nabonidus, the last king of Babylon, father of Belshazzar, who worshipped Sin, Lord Zu, on one occasion desired to restore a temple to the moon god at Haran. He wished to be certain that this step, this action, commended itself to Merodach, death and slaughter, the chief deity of Babylonia. I'd say Merodach was the personification of the gate to the afterlife, Lord Zu being the gatekeeper. So he applied this to the liver inspectors of his day and found that the omen was favorable. The late Lewis Spence is chipping away at the term ash. One unique, alone, wish, desire, wolf, curse, spider. First he mentioned the wishes, then desires, and now we find Nabonidus desirous of making a certain symbol of the sun god in accordance with an ancient pattern. He placed a model of this before Shamash and consulted the liver of a sheep to ascertain whether the god approved of the offering. But on 3 separate occasions, the signs were unfavorable. Nabonidus then concluded that the model of the symbol could not have been correctly reproduced, and on replacing it by another, he found the signs propitious, meaning favorable. Hold on a minute, wouldn't that mean... So in chaos magic, A, it has to be hidden. B, one has to know the process. C, you have to redefine it. Hence the term chaos magic, and is the reason it doesn't work for most people, which would indicate that Nabonidus is using chaos magic in order to acquire a fake good omen. In order, however, that there should be no mistake, he sought among the records of the past for the result of a liver inspection on a similar occasion, and by comparing the omens, that he was safe in making a symbol. Peculiar signs, when they were found, connected with events of importance, were specially noted in the literature of liver divination, and were handed down from generation to generation. The sins of the fathers passes down to their sons. Thus, a number of omens are associated with Gilgamesh, the godson of Lugalbanda, the first ever divinity, who gained divinity from Anzu, the most powerful demon, the divine storm bird. Gilgamesh, the mythical hero of the Babylonian epic of Gilgamesh. Anzu being good as a protector, but also the curse upon the tablet, should anyone attempt to destroy it. A certain condition of the gallbladder is said to indicate the omen of Urumush, whom the men of his palace killed. Bad signs and good signs are enumerated in the literature of this subject. Thus, like most peoples, the Babylonians considered the right side as lucky and the left as unlucky. Any sign on the right side of the gallbladder, ducts, or lobes was supposed to refer to the king, the country, or the army, while a similar sign on the sinister side applied to the enemy, similar to the steel of vultures. It is worth noting that Anzu means vulture or eagle, meaning Anzu has a favorable and a sinister side. Thus, a good sign on the right side applied to Babylonia or Assyria in a favorable sense. A bad sign on the right side is an unfavorable sense, and a good sign on the left side was an omen favorable to the enemy. Don't forget, Zu also means mirror, and each side and the sign is reflected, inverted. Whereas a bad sign on the left side to the native king or forces. It would be out of place here to give a more extended description of the liver reading of the ancient Chaldeans. Suffice it to say that the subject is a very complicated one in its deeper significance, i.e. the will of the gods, once demons, and has little interest to the general reader in its advanced stages. Certain well-marked conditions of the liver could only indicate certain political, religious, or personal events. It will be more interesting if we attempt to visualize the act of divination by liver reading, as it was practiced in ancient Babylonia, and if our imaginations break down in the process. It is not the fault of the very large material we have to work upon. Next, we have the account of the missing caravan, before I begin my work on the monsters of ancient Babylon.